Hello, my name is Mark Hancock, and I'm going to convince you that raising sea levels and imminent coastal destruction is a problem that needs to be heard and is worthy of our attention to solve. The problem: the importance of raising sea levels and the coastal destruction associated with it. The issue: the coastal destruction caused by the raising sea levels and the increasingly more violent weather systems. Just think about the recent issues that we've had with Hurricane Sandy and Hurricane Katrina, to name a few. The effects. The effects of this directly affect the coastal communities and coastal assets worldwide, not just in America. When does this happen? Sea level rise is a constant process and is an upward trend in devastating weather system frequency and size. The cause. This is caused by increasing global temperature that is most likely due to increasing greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Now I'm going to read you an excerpt from a NOAA article that supports myself. While the studies showed that sea levels have changed little from AD 0 until 1900, sea levels began to climb in the 20th century. Two major causes of global sea level rise are thermal expansion, caused by the warming of the oceans, since water expands as it warms, and the loss of land-based ice, such as glaciers and polar ice caps, due to increased melting. Records and research show that sea level has been steadily rising at a rate of 1 to 2.5 millimeters per year since 1900. This rate may be increasing. Since 1992, new methods of satellite allometry, the measurement or elevation of altitude, indicates a rise of a rate of 3 millimeters a year. This is significantly larger than the rate the sea level has averaged over the last several thousand years. The possible solutions. Since greenhouse gas levels will continue to increase despite our effort to decrease or eliminate their further production, we need to address the more immediate problem of sheltering the coastlines from storms and adapting the coast for future changes. Some of the problems can be solved in places around the world, like storm surge barriers that we can see here at St. Petersburg in Russia. This is from this month's article of National Geographic called Rising Seas. And in this picture, I'm going to show it to you slow, we can see the barrier protection that they've made at the gate of St. Petersburg that'll close in event of a storm surge. You can just see there one of the walls that swings together. You can see the barge passing through the canal, but when a big storm or flooding comes, they can swing those gates closed and protect the harbor from big floods like you have in Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Sandy that devastated the coasts of New Jersey and New Orleans, respectively. Secondly, we can have offshore islands with collapsible sluice gates that combine with an artificial offshore ecological reefs to buffer erosion and decrease weather severity, because those offshore reefs and barriers will slow down the flooding and any big waves that are caused by the storms, preventing a lot of asset loss and possible death. A third solution to the problem they've been using in Amsterdam and Holland and the cities around there, because with increased sea level rise, they've had to house flooding and building flooding. So one example that they use to fix that is by installing floating homes. I'm going to show another picture here. This is from Holland. There we go. All those homes are built on a floating pier that's attached to the dock, and they can rise and flow with the tide and increasing sea level. So that's going to be a sustainable method to provide homes and structure that can sustain the rising and swelling of the sea. So my solution would contain an integrated approach of both the offshore reefs and the floating houses. This solution is more ecologically friendly and adapts to future change by using a reef system that will self-sustain itself and grow with time, as the local shellfish will attach to the reef, grow and die, and build up on each other. Most of Florida is actually made on such a thing. The ground rocks in Florida are all from the shells of ancient marine creatures, and that's why it's so shallow and so below sea level. I'm going to finish up my speech here by showing you a picture of the predicted coastline in the year 2100. So I'm going to go by real slow, focusing mostly on America and the East Coast here, and you can see how much of the country will be affected by the raising sea level just in the next less than 100 years. So here we go, starting off at the West Coast. You can see that San Francisco is going to be flooded there, Los Angeles, San Diego. I'm going to pan here slowly. I'm going to back out for you too. Now we're going to look for Florida, but it's covered. Pretty much the entire state of Florida is covered there. You can get in closer to the East Coast, if I can figure out You can see that New York and Boston, all those states are greatly affected by the rising sea level. They'll be practically underwater. So if we don't do something to protect them in the near future and to adapt to the rising sea levels in the distant future, we're going to have problems on our hands. And I think that this is a good issue that needs to be brought to our attention, and that through these solutions that we've seen in other countries, we can find a valuable solution that we can use here in this country and around the world to prevent future asset loss and hopefully save some lives. Thanks a lot and have a good night.